Hi, I'm Foronda.
Hi, I'm Angel. I'm an artist.
I am currently teaching English to Japanese students.
Hi, I'm Alma.
My name is Niccolo. I'm a photographer.
I'm a journalist.
And I'm a vegetarian.
And occasional poet.
Hi, I'm Kim.
I am godless, atheist, free thinker.
My name is Vince.
I'm involved in lay pastoral ministry.
I'm a poet and a critic.
I do believe that an excess in everything is not a good thing.
Because gravity.
I like reading books and I love philosophy.
And I'm a unicorn.
As long as I'm cute, I'm okay with that.
Other than that, very interested in hearing people's stories.
I have no other labels or identifiers for myself, so I don't know.
I believe in truth, at least I will when I find it.
Maybe I'm just... Welcome to Principles of Principle. Today we're going to discuss what principles are. We have a special guest, Mr. Ryan.
Yeah.
You like my bow, guys?
Yeah. I like your stash.
Also known as Mario.
No, I don't know.
Hey, that's why we're sitting this far apart, Angel.
Exactly.
We've known each other too long.
Oh, you've known each other too long.
Too
You know,
well.
that could open questions.
There's a lot
About
to answer.
principles.
Okay.
Anyways, go.
So when we talk about principles or when we use the word principle, we often refer to a certain kind of law or rule which people follow or which causes things to happen. So what do you think, or what are your ideas about what a principle is?
Isn't that the lady down the hall from the faculty room where you get
Wow.
sent when you
That's
do
the
something
principal.
bad?
That's the pun they
today,
used
huh?
for the show's title, but
Principle.
in philosophy, for example, there are several kinds of principles. There are principles which we could follow as law, certain kind of moral law, or universal principles which become actions. Like there's the principle of sufficient reason, principle of non-contradiction, and other such things. But in general, when people talk about principles, it's something like a belief that you follow in life.
So there
In
are
simple-
there are universal pillars that we all adhere and follow, but there are also principles that we create ourselves. I think
Personal principles.
personal principles.
Like house rules. Sorry to bring it back to like games and stuff, but it's just like different people have their own different principles that they adhere to. Of course, as we already established, there's certain pillars that we all agree to. So hopefully we agree to, like obviously like the things that are
Like don't kill
wrong.
people.
Yeah, don't kill people even though people still kill people.
Yeah. We prefer
no
not
we prefer not-
We prefer it.
Sponsored by not murder. But there are still things that, for example, I'm sure that my principles will differ from everybody here because we all have experienced different things in life which mold and change our thoughts and what we live by. So I guess the short answer to your question, like what is a principle or what is principle or a definition of it, is standards that I live by, that I put onto myself, whether that would be based on some outside influence or things that I have developed via living life. So that's right.
Yeah. I'm in agreement with that statement.
Heyo.
But I think when it comes to principles, it's also something that shows in your actions. They can't just be these mental thoughts that you believe in. It has to be something that you live it.
Yep.
Live it and breathe it, no matter who or whomever decides they feel is not, conducive to them, right? So principles are what you live by, you stand by, and what you eat and breathe every day. It's who you are, your principles. Who am I? What makes me? What makes Angel? What makes you?
So it's your constitution, basically.
Yeah, it's my rules I live by.
It's your personal charter.
Yeah, that I also exude. Because people do have these, but I know people that live standards, but they don't exude it or apply it. But
They just say it.
They just say it. But for me, I feel true principles, true standards are the ones that you not only just say and chant, but you do try to implement in all your actions. That's for me what I feel.
Well, I just tried to be humanitarian. Well, being godless, they're going to question you, which is.
Speaking of God,
What is that?
He's calling you back.
He started a conversation with you. Okay,
that was
back to you, Nick.
that was abrupt.
Where does my truth lies? Where should I go? Where just morale comes in my life.
So
right?
principles is based in your truth.
Yes,
It's
yeah.
also experiential, I think.
Of course, yes, definitely, and of course, it's established. Do not kill anyone, of course, especially
Preferably.
animals.
Well,
too,
avoid
Preferably.
killing where possible.
Where you will be found. No, I'm kidding.
Avoid killing when there's evidence.
Yes.
Well, there are situations where you may wind up having to.
Yeah.
War is one of them. Defense of yourself or someone else.
Zombie apocalypse. Yeah.
Zombie.
That's a good one.
Technically,
Are you really
you're not
dead?
killing
Oh.
them. They're already dead.
All principles are off then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zombie apocalypse. No
It's a whole
rules, no
different
standards,
paradigm
no
there.
principles, people.
This
So,
conversation.
Wait. I have a very simple explanation of principles.
Okay.
Well, my principles are very basic. It's I follow the journalist's code of ethics, which states that you do not lie, you do not speak things or write things that you cannot prove or support with documentary evidence or good expert opinion. You do not take advantage of other people. You do not resort to unfair means to achieve your goals. And if someone asks you to do something that violates your ethics, you walk away from that job, that situation, that opportunity because it is not an opportunity and it sure as hell isn't a job. So yeah, I tend to make it a principle that the way I conduct myself as a journalist is the way I conduct myself as a human being. It makes life simpler. There.
well, on my end, I try to both complicate and try to make things simpler. For example, when we talk about principles, right? Each of you said something about it, about your life, your actions, what you believe in, what is true for you. The question there is whether or not our principles are individual beliefs that are or reflect a certain kind of universality in them, like not killing people, not hurting
Not killing people
animals,
unnecessarily.
not killing people unnecessarily. There's that question of whether a certain principle you believe in is universal or not. And on that note, you can see that the world over and history, all of the conflicts mostly are because
Over
of
principles.
over principles and differences in beliefs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
War, genocide, all the atrocities of that happen in the world mostly are due to people having different beliefs from other people. But does that mean that we just have to respect other people? And what does respect mean for another person's principles? Does it just mean tolerance, or does it mean having to open yourself or open your mind about another person's principles?
Well, okay. I think if you want to speak of respect for another person's beliefs or principles which differ from your own, the very basic, the entry-level requirement is tolerance. You will not kill that person just because that person is Muslim and you are Christian. I think you begin there. Two, you can move it on to the fact that you have common ground. You are all human beings. All right? And you all will react to certain things in the same way. You get hurt, you will flinch and move away. Right? You have things in common, and actually more things in common than you do differences. When you can look beyond the differences, then you begin to truly respect another person. But again, it begs the question of, do you actually want to respect that person? If you don't want to respect the person, or the person has not earned your respect, because respect can never be demanded, can only be given and earned, then you have to be in that space. If you're not in that space where respect is present, then you have conflict. Then your principles will clash, even if you have the same principles on both sides, generally, but the details differ.
The problem is control, the need for control, and judgment.
Yeah.
See, we all have our own perception of our principles, but the problem always lies when, no, I want your principles to be like mine.
I want to show my principles.
Yeah, I'm
down.
going to show mine to yours, and
Yeah.
if you don't behave the way I see you should behave, therefore, you're not acceptable to me. You know what I mean? And I find that such. I'm sorry, I'm just pointing at you because your mustache.
Being lectured by like an author.
It's your mustache. I can't really it just keeps directing me there. Okay. So I find that a huge problem in terms of principles and our standards and respect in society and all that stuff, because it all matters. It all kind of jumbles in together. Why do we have so many issues? Everyone wants control.
Yes.
We want to control how we should behave instead of really completely respecting our autonomy for what kind of standards or lives we want to live.
And a little
You know what I
deeper
mean?
than the need for control is, I just want things my way, whether or not I control the situation.
Yeah.
And since I want it my way and you're not giving it to me willingly, I'm going to take it, therefore I will try to take control. Never works.
So then that brings up the question of, yes, we figured out now that our principles are all relative to our beings. So what my experience is completely different with Arnie's experience. So then how do I go about not bringing in selfish motives or ulterior motives to bring my...
let's be honest, everybody has a selfish
Exactly,
motive.
that's what I'm saying. So how
So
do
it's
we...
not about bringing it in, it's about reining it in. See, yeah, I have a selfish motive. I'm going to be honest with myself. My motive is selfish. But do I need to demand that someone else fulfill my own selfishness? I can always say, I want to be selfish about this, but this is not going to have a good result. When you look at the consequences of your words and your actions, then you can more accurately decide whether or not to push forward with a motive that may or may not be to someone else's benefit as well as yours. Because there's such a thing as the win-win situation.
Yeah.
Where even if you have a selfish motive, someone else gets fulfilled as well because their selfish motive is on the same page as yours. And you all win and you're all happy. Right? And then there are the selfish motives that collide and only one person will come out winning. Or one group of people. So you do have to look at consequences. You have to extrapolate from the... think out of the box, if you will.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so we would just have to try to summarize everything. The question you
Yeah, I was asking a question off cam. What principle do you hold dearest? This is the thing that even if you're drawing your last breath, you will stand by.
Can I go
Is
first?
that like
Yeah,
a
go
motto
first.
in
Okay.
life?
So I struggle
It can
with
be.
this every day. It is the perfect marriage of logic and kindness, because sometimes when you put in logic in there, it could be very brutal. So it could be devoid of emotion, but try to be at least kind. It's so difficult. Yeah, I struggle with that every day. Kindness and logic. So those two.
Well, yeah, my default settings, bitch, so I struggle with that too. But the one principle I will always hold to my last breath is I will always speak the truth. And if I'm faced with an ugly person and I'm dying, trust me, I will tell them they're ugly.
Yeah.
But yeah, truth.
Well, for me, what I've tried to live by is to try to seek the questions that surface or go behind the answers that we have. That's what I try to do.
So your principle is there is always a question that follows an
And
answer.
yes, and that questions have more value than answers themselves. Because the quality of our questions also affect the quality of our thought.
Ah, that's deep.
Always.
belongs.
Ocean
That's Vin's always.
deep.
Mine is always being mindful. I think that's a key to many, many things. Being mindful makes us appreciate a lot of things. And if we become mindful in anything, I think it can let other people be mindful also when they see that you're also mindful. When you eat, when you take a stroll, so but it's very difficult. It's a struggle.
Isn't that about being in the moment?
It's being in the moment. It's being in the moment.
And
It's
very
being,
aware.
It's
You
being
two
there.
are Buddhists.
So I've a practice would be to put sorry a raisin. That's it. A raisin. Putting a raisin in your mouth and just that girl is laughing. Putting a raisin in your mouth and just try to feel the texture as you take a bite. Because then you appreciate that raisins have that kind of texture. Then you can apply it to any other things that you do in your life, and then it's also being selfless. That when you do things, it's not just for your own good; it's also for the world.
So
And our special guest with a beautiful stash.
One knuckle.
It's Super Mario. Super Mario.
No, I guess my principle that I'll keep till I die is to try. I think that's the best one. Is because I know I'm not perfect. I know I'll fail, but as long as I hold on to the openness to try be better, to try to accept, to try to do this or do that, and the openness that it comes with, I think that's valuable. So
I'll take yours. And,
cheater.
Wait, will you try what I did?
No. One-way street.
One way.
Exit
only. Mine is people might take this the wrong way, and people don't really know what I've been through. But
Did not try.
I will not try. People don't know what I've been through, and the only way to sum it up, because our principles I think change depending where we are in life.
Depending on
what's right for me.
Yeah.
And at this moment, what's been my mantra is to not to abandon my truth. And my truth is very vast. Like it's the truth in what I feel is right, the truth in what I feel, where I belong, the truth in what I believe in. And I think I spent a lot of years abandoning what I truly felt was right for me. So that's my principle at this moment that I stick to and hold true is to never abandon my truth.
Cool.
All right. This was Principles of Principle. We're
It's our
last episode of
the
season 1.
Yes.
Season 1 finale.
But please stay tuned for our next season, and I'm sure that's going to be exciting too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's been a great season, guys. Thank
And
you.
I love my co-host. I just have to say that I love my co-host.
Oh, hi, Professor Tengco.
We miss